this. Okay, so if he's like constantly in my face, I do apologize. He's such a puppy. He has so much energy. He's literally like a child. So moms, I like slightly understand. Like in like the slightest way, because I can't like necessarily say they're a child, but like I feel like he's a child wanting my attention 72 hours. Okay. Anyways, so I'm really excited about this one today. So this is a topic I don't normally talk about. And I like just got the chance to study a lot on it today, and I spent a lot of time just like reading my Bible, because I felt like all the times last week that I was trying to read my Bible, I was like rushing through it just to get through it. And it wasn't like I was sitting here saying, oh, I'm just going to say that I could read my Bible today. It was genuinely like, okay, I want to like learn something, but I'm not necessarily learning something in this moment because I'm trying to rush through it because my mind is going like 50 miles per hour elsewhere. And so I took the time to really, really slow down today. And oh my gosh, Cooper, come here. I took the time to slow down today, and it was really, really helpful. And so I'll read you something from this. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him. So I'm going to read you something from this, and then I'll read y'all something from my actual devotional on my phone. So this one is a Jesus Calling. I got a new one. And so it's ones that I haven't read before, but it says, wait patiently with me while I bless you. Don't rush into my presence with time consciousness gnawing at your mind. I dwell in timelessness. I am, I was, and I always will be. For you, time is a protection. You're a frail creature who can handle only 24-hour segments of life. Time can also be a tyrant ticking away relentlessly in your mind. Learn to master time, or it will be your master. Though you are a time-bound creature, seek to me in timelessness. As you focus on my presence, the demands of time and task will diminish. I will bless you and keep you, making my face shine upon you graciously, giving you peace. So that's one part of it. And I was just talking about time. Like I found myself when I was reading the Bible, when I was doing my devotionals, when I was doing anything not business related, I was rushing through it. And it was just because I think since I'm a high performer, like I literally, if something's not producing me money right then and there, I'm like, oh my gosh. But if in reality, like God's the one that supplies me with the money, God supplies me with the business, God supplies me with absolutely everything. So if I'm not coming to him, like what am I actually doing? And so that's kind of saying carve out time for you. So this topic that I'm going to read about is sacrifice, which I think a lot of it is sometimes really, really hard to do for us. And I think a lot of us don't do it for the sake of being scared to sacrifice things, to be like willing to just step out in the unknown. So I really want to challenge you for sacrifice today, whatever it might be. So you can just like ask God to bless your heart and bless your mind with whatever it is that you need to personally sacrifice. For me, I realized that I had certain areas in my life that I thought or I'd never really thought of before until like I read my Bible and I was like, God, are you telling me I need to sacrifice in this area? I know for me, I need to sacrifice way more time reading my Bible, but I also need to sacrifice being uncomfortable talking about God and talking about Jesus and talking about my faith to unbelievers. For me, and I went to church yesterday, and the preacher talked about this. So this is kind of what opened my eyes to it. But I like sink in the thought of like when I'm talking to people about God, I sink in and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever you believe, you believe. Instead of me sitting here saying, well, this is personally what I believe. This is what I believe. This is what I believe. Even if you don't believe this, this is like the truth for me. And it makes me very uncomfortable because I'm not about confrontation. I want to please everybody. I want people to know I'm not that pushy Christian. And so I think that's an area that I really need to work on. And it was kind of brought to my attention yesterday through a lot of things. So that's an area that I need to sacrifice more on, is like the thought of being uncomfortable. So this might speak to you, but it says sometimes what God desires is not the actual physical giving up of something we love, but simply our sincere willingness to do so. One of the clearest examples of this is found in the life of Abraham, the first patriarch. Abraham loved his son Isaac more than anything. In fact, God promised Abraham he would have this son with all scientific reasoning based on the age of him and his wife indicated that would be impossible. And yet God's promise proved true as always, and the son came with another promise, and that God would start a nation and ultimately bless the whole world through his son Isaac. Abraham was flying high, living out that promise as his son grew up, and he saw God's promises come to fruition before his eyes. And then one day everything changed. God called Abraham to give up the thing he loved most in the world, his son. And I don't know if y'all know the story of the Bible, and I think it's the same story where Abraham was called to like kill his son or sacrifice his son. And right when he was about to do it, God was like, okay, I just wanted to see if you're willing to do this. And now that you're willing to do this, we'll sacrifice a lamb instead. I think, please don't quote me on this, but I think that that's the story. And so it asked you 2 questions. It said, what verse stood out to you the most in this? And what can you do today in your life to sacrifice something? So maybe for you, maybe it's not something as spiritual as it is like something that's like physical. Maybe you need to sacrifice 10 minutes of sleep in order for you to get more Bible time in. Maybe you need to sacrifice not eating late at night so you can wake up feeling more energized. Maybe you need to sacrifice time with your kids, like sacrifice a little bit more time with your kids so you can flourish in this business, so you can have more time with them in the future. You know, it could be so many different things. And I think a lot of us are so scared to sacrifice things because it's so unknown. It's so weird. It's so uncomfortable stepping outside your comfort zone to where you're like, God, I don't know. And he's called us to sacrifice things in our life anyways. And he always promises on the other side that he's going to provide us with the things that he's told us he would provide us with. But oftentimes we don't step into sacrifice because we're just too afraid. And then we go about our days living the normal lives that we were not meant to live, living in the fear, living in the same old patterns, living in the same, things that you've been doing the year before. So I think that a lot of us probably are called to sacrifice things. So like maybe you need to sacrifice a little bit more of your money to be able to give back and to be able to start tithing. I talked with a lot of people on this topic last week. And so this is very heavily on my heart because they were asking me about it, but they were people who didn't tithe before, and they were just like, I'm scared. And I was like, oh my gosh, I know. I completely know how the feeling is. It's not that, what is it? It says that courage is like not you not being afraid. It's you being afraid and doing it anyways. And that's what God is calling you to do. He's not going to tell you it's not scary. He's just telling you to step out in the unknown and trust him. And that's true blind faith. When you've never done it before and you don't know the good things that are going to come from it. So you have to probably sacrifice a little bit of things. You have to sacrifice the not being as comfortable. Like for me, and this is an example that I really, it like hurts my soul to say this. So like, for instance, when I like pray over my meal every single time I eat, okay? With my family, I'll pray over my meal. With Dallas, we'll pray over our meal. With friends, I don't pray over my meal. Okay. When I'm around people outside of like my comfort zone, when I'm sitting here eating or when I'm going out to eat with them, if they cook a dinner for me, I don't sit here and I'm not like, hey, you guys, hold on 1 second and let me just pray over my meal. I don't do that. And it's so small, but it's so big because at the same time, he says deny me in front of man and I will deny you in front of me, or deny you in front of like heaven or something like that. And that's kind of what got me thinking. I was like, wow, I've preached on this topic so many times, but yeah, I'm the one who hasn't sacrificed things that I need to sacrifice. And so that's like such a simple little thing that I could change, and it's going to be outside my comfort zone, but I'm determined to change it. Like, why would someone like sit here and judge me for praying over my food? And if they do, are they even my friends if they judge me through that, And so that was something that I spoke so heavily to me. And then also I seem to like, and Morgan talked about this before. And she said that like when she's around her friends, like obviously she makes more money than her friends. Like it's just a given. I make more money than my friends. Okay. And so every time I'm around my friends, I diminish my success because I don't want their judgment. I diminish my success and diminish the things that I want because I'm specifically like, oh, I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be the outcast. Instead, I should be sticking out and setting an example saying, no, you can do this. And so maybe you are like that about this business. Maybe when you're around friends and family, you diminish the success or you diminish the blessings that you're doing. I know for me, when I'm around my friends, I don't sit here and say, oh, but I'm blessing this person. I'm blessing this person. My friends and family, we just talked about, our team just talked about Jesus on this last Zoom. I don't talk about those things. Does anybody even know that I pray over this Zoom daily? Does anybody know that I leave these prayer zones outside this business and outside the people who follow me on Instagram? No. So I'm so over it. And sometimes like when, I don't know if y'all were on the team Zoom last night, because honestly, almost all y'all are on my team, but Um, I don't know if y'all hopped on it last night, but I was like, I'm someone who has to like hit rock bottom before I do something, and I have to get mad at myself before I actually do something and commit to do something and make a change. And that was me last night. And this morning I was like, I'm so sick of diminishing what it is that I believe in and diminishing what it is that I want in my life, diminishing my goals, diminishing all the things that I believe in because of the uncomfort of others. And that's where I was just like, I'm done. If anybody ever talks like about this business to me again, I'm going to rave about it. I'm not going to crawl back and sit here and say, I wonder if they're going to sit here and bash me, because sometimes people do. And then like, I'm done with that. I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, 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 you can believe in whatever you believe in. Like you can, I respect that. But also at the same time, I'm going to be very heavily like spoken about what it is that I believe in. And so maybe I can make a difference, because we are called to make a difference. And you sitting back in the back seat because you're so uncomfortable to step outside your comfort zone, that you're not sitting here claiming that you love Jesus in front of people. You're not sitting here putting it in your bio. You're not sitting here talking about it on your stories because you're so afraid of what people might think. And that was just something that I just like, it just like woke me up when I was just sitting there in silence when I was reading the Bible, because God, I felt like God spoke to me a lot through the sermon yesterday, because my preacher was talking about that a lot heavily, but he was also like, sit in the word. He was like, don't sit there in the Bible, reading the Bible just because you're crossing it off the list. Sit and read one verse and then ask God to translate it for you, and just feel him move in your mind and feel him give you the thoughts. And so I did that today. And of course, right when I opened my devotional, it was the same exact verse that he spoke to yesterday about the sermon. It always happens like that. It's the weirdest thing. And I know it's not a coincidence. It has to be a God thing, because it was right there in front of me. And that's when I was like, in this moment, I was like, I know that God's trying to speak to me through something. And then that's where I had my breakthrough this morning. I was like, oh my gosh, like he's speaking to me heavily on this. Like I claim that I'm a Christian. I claim that I'm so proud to love Jesus. But at the end of the day, like if someone were, and he used this example, so this could be a really good example for you guys. If you had to go to court and your lawyer was trying to fight against or fight with you, claiming that you love Jesus so much, and he had to win the jury over explaining to them how much you love Jesus, would he have enough examples? Would he sit here and be like, oh, but Macy did this, and Macy said this, and Macy spoke out in front of this? Or would it be like crickets, and he'd be like, oh, we don't really have a good case. We do not have a good case here, and I don't know if we're going to win. And when he said that, I'm a very picture like person. Like I have to imagine things. When he said that, I was like, people on social media would know I love Jesus, but I'm not just social media. I'm a human. I'm a human. I'm outside social media. I sit at my home. I sit here and go to the gym. I sit here and go to family gatherings and friend gatherings. I go to parties. I go to do these things. And do they know that I love Jesus? Or is it genuinely just like I think they know? And then I automatically assume, and then I don't mention anything. And that's where it just really, really got the ball rolling for me. I was like, wow, in order for me to upgrade my spiritual life, I've got to do some work. I've like got to step up in so many areas. It's not even funny. And I think that like, obviously this, I can correlate this to this business a lot, but I think a lot of us like heavily are just like, we love Jesus. We do, yes, like this company is Christian based. We do this. But when you're talking to someone about the business, could they tell that you love Jesus? I had a girl yesterday compliment me, and she was like, I just love your passion. I love your enthusiasm. I can feel it through your words when you're speaking to me. And I was like, oh, you gonna be my next diamond girl. Let's go. And so we have a sign up date for her Thursday. And that made me feel good, because I was like, if I'm this passionate about the business, should I not be this passionate talking to people in person about this business and about God and about all these things? And so I just think a lot of us are probably really guilty of this. I really, really do. And like, besides the people in this business, have you shared this Zoom? Have you shared this prayer Zoom with people outside of your team? I haven't. I posted it on social media, but again, social media is social media. I haven't texted people outside of this business that I know and say, hey, I just want to let you know I have this offer and I have this opportunity. Not saying you have to get on, but you can always come on and listen to me. It makes me very uncomfortable if I were to do this and my friends were to hop on. I would feel like, oh my gosh, okay, now they're judging me, now they're watching me, and it would just like not be normal. Hey, stop. No. You want to go in the kennel? You want to go in the kennel? That's how you threaten them. But anyways, I really hope that helps, because that was kind of just an eye opener for me. So a journal prompt, or I just need you to like specifically pray and ask God, what is it that you want me to sacrifice today? Can you show me so heavily? Can you show me in the word? Can you show me by a sermon? Can you show me by like physical things? Something that's not going to sit here and cross me and me second guess it. Something that's going to instantly hit me and be like, okay, I need to change this. I promise, I bet a million freaking bucks he will show you some way, somehow, some shape, some form of something, okay? He's not going to leave there and show you voids. Or maybe this could be the other route. He's going to allow you to sit in silence for so long, you start coming up with scenarios in your mind. That's the Holy Spirit, okay? So hopefully that helps. And just kind of like you seeing things in your life that maybe you could do differently, because I know that I 100% need to do this. And I know I'm so excited now, because now when people talk to me about something, I'm just going to be passionate. I'm going to be more passionate and be like, this is my job. This is my job as a Christian, to sit here and share the word. Like, who would, I don't know. Like, when I think of people not believing in Jesus, I'm like, I feel bad for you. Like, the quality of your life, like, it's not necessarily that I'm judging you, but it's like, how do you get through your hard days? How do you sit here and believe all the things? How do you sit here and like trust that everything's going to be okay? Like, it's just, I don't know. It just mind blows me, but I'm going to stop this recording.